Have you ever said to yourself, "I'll do it someday"? Let me tell you a story about a man named Arthur. Arthur lived a quiet life in a small town, and his world was filled with dreams he kept for someday. Arthur had a small wooden shed in his backyard. Inside, collecting dust, was a beautiful, unfinished canvas. He'd bought it years ago, dreaming of painting the sunrise over the mountains he could see from his window. Every morning, he'd look at the vibrant colors in the sky and think, "Someday, I'll capture that." But today was for work, for errands, for the ordinary rhythm of life. Painting was for someday. He also had a worn-out travel guide to Italy sitting on his nightstand. The pages were soft, the corners bent from years of flipping through them. He could almost taste the pasta, hear the bustling streets of Rome, and feel the warm Tuscan sun. He'd tell his friends, "Someday, I'm going to see the Colosseum. I'm going to walk through Florence." He had a jar where he'd put his spare change, his Italy fund. But a new roof was needed, the car needed repairs, and Italy remained a dream for someday. Arthur loved to write. He had notebooks filled with story ideas, character sketches, and snippets of dialogue. He dreamed of writing a novel, a grand adventure story that would transport readers to another world. He'd often sit at his desk, pen in hand, and stare at a blank page. "The perfect opening line will come to me," he'd think. "I'll start writing it all down someday, when I have more time, when I feel more inspired." But that someday never seemed to arrive. The notebooks just got thicker with ideas, but the story remained unwritten. Years flowed by like a gentle river. Arthur's hair turned from brown to silver, and his steps became a little slower. His friends would ask him, "Arthur, did you ever paint that sunrise?" Or, "How's that novel coming along?" He'd just smile and say, "Almost. I'll get to it someday." The word "someday" was his comfort, a soft blanket he wrapped around his postponed dreams. It felt safe. There was no risk of failure in "someday," no chance of the painting not looking right, or the trip not being perfect, or the book not being a masterpiece. Someday was a flawless, imaginary place. One sunny afternoon, Arthur was cleaning out his attic and found a box of old photographs. There he was, a young man with a bright smile, standing beside a much younger version of his shed. He remembered the excitement he felt when he bought that first canvas. He found another photo of himself holding the Italy travel guide, his eyes wide with anticipation, and another, sitting at his desk, surrounded by those first few notebooks. As he looked at these images of his younger self, a profound sadness washed over him. He realized that someday wasn't a day of the week. It was a thief. It had stolen his time, his energy, his passions. The vibrant sunrises he had meant to paint had all faded. The Italy he dreamed of had changed, and he had changed too. The stories in his head were now just faint echoes. He had spent his entire life waiting for a perfect moment that was never guaranteed. He was waiting for a future that he forgot to build in the present. He treated his life like a dress rehearsal, always practicing for a main event that he never scheduled. That evening, Arthur didn't watch TV. He walked out to his shed, wiped the dust off the canvas, and found his old paints. The colors were a bit dry, but he managed. He didn't wait for the sunrise. He painted from memory, a swirl of oranges, pinks, and purples. It wasn't perfect. The lines were a bit shaky, but it was real. It was his. The next day, he took the money from his Italy fund jar. It wasn't enough for a grand tour, but it was enough for a plane ticket. He booked a one-way flight. He didn't have an itinerary. He just knew he had to go. And his novel? He took a fresh notebook and on the first page, he wrote, Chapter 1. He didn't know where the story would go, but he knew it had to start. Arthur's story isn't about grand, dramatic regrets. It's about the quiet, creeping tragedy of a life unlived, of potential left on the shelf. He learned, perhaps a little late, that all we ever truly have is today. This moment, right now. So, I want to ask you, what is your someday? Is it a passion you've put on hold? A trip you've been dreaming of? A book you want to read? Or maybe one you want to write? A skill you've always wanted to learn? A conversation you need to have? We all have these somedays. We tell ourselves we'll start eating healthier. Someday, we'll learn that instrument. Someday, we'll call that old friend. Someday, We convince ourselves that the conditions aren't right, that we need more time, more money, more energy. But the truth is, the perfect moment is a myth. Life is messy and unpredictable. If you wait for all the traffic lights to be green before you start your journey, you'll never leave the house. Don't let someday be the place where your dreams go to be forgotten. Take a small step today. You don't have to paint a masterpiece. Just put one brushstroke on the canvas. You don't have to book a trip around the world. Just open a new tab and research your dream destination for 10 minutes. You don't have to write a whole novel. Just write one sentence. That tiny action is a signal to yourself and to the universe that you are no longer waiting. You are starting. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, but that step has to be taken today, not someday. Your life is happening right now. The clock is ticking. Don't be a spectator in your own existence. Be the artist, the explorer, the author of your own story. Pick up the brush, open the map, write the first word. Do it for your future self, so that when you look back, you see a life filled not with dusty dreams, but with vibrant memories of things you actually did. Let's redefine someday. Let's make it today. What is one small step you can take toward your someday dream? Right after watching this video, share it in the comments below. Let's inspire each other to stop waiting and start living. Thank you for listening. And if this story resonated with you, consider subscribing for more reflections on living a more intentional life.